Hello. I seem to have transitioned into a different phase of the Kundalini. So we're now a year, a bit more than a year and a few months into this process, and this current phase seems to be all about this yoga sessions kind of spilling over into my everyday life. Kundalini kind of Shakti just taking over the system more fully. And so the line between the sessions that I film of the spontaneous yoga and then the rest of my life is just becoming more and more blurred. So the yoga will just turn into walking around town, for example. I'll finish a movement, so there'll be a flow of different movements, different stretches and positions, and then suddenly I'll be on my feet and walking towards the door of the room. So I'll just kind of go with it, and then I'll end up outside. And at this point, it's not me walking, I'm just going with the Shakti. So it feels like I'm being blown around by a powerful wind. So I feel like I'm having to surrender to this mighty wind and just allow it to it's kind of like I've become a leaf, and it's just blowing me this way and that. And sometimes it will show me things, and there'll be like little synchronicities as I'm walking around, and it tends to walk when it walks me. There's a real drive to it, so I'm marching around sometimes like the Terminator. The other day I was nearly running, so it's good cardio, and I ended up several train stops away from my house quite late at night, and I felt at that point I was going somewhere particular because there was such drive to my stride. But I didn't. I just walked around, and I just gave in to the energy, and that was it. So more and more, this is happening more and more, and it's almost like there's a choice now. I can go and decide to go to the gym or go to the supermarket and go straight there, or I can just kind of enter into a sort of allowing state where I just kind of relax like I do before the Kriya sessions. And then it takes over, and then I go where it wants to go. So there's this kind of yin and yang thing between my personal will and it. And I suppose eventually they're going to merge. That's what I'm thinking. So it's all very strange. Another time, recently, the yoga movements were happening, and then I found myself on my feet, and I went straight to my phone, picked it up, and my finger started automatically doing stuff, and it went to my Amazon page, which is my Kindle Amazon page, which is dedicated to my book, and it was sort of fiddling with some of the settings to do with the front cover. And I wrote an email to a company whose job it is to create a book cover for you. But I didn't even know what I was writing, so I actually found it easier to close my eyes and let my finger do what it wanted rather than anticipate what it was writing. So I've sent an email, and I've no idea what was on this email. It could be gibberish. But I got a message back, and I can't afford to pay for this to this company. But it seemed like the energy was interested in promoting my book, which I thought was awesome, because I do think it's a good book and interesting, and it's got a lot of my pre-Kundalini ideas that I was wrestling with, and so I'm glad that it agrees with me on that front. So maybe, I don't know, maybe my book will have some success in future. Seems to be something that's on the cards anyway. That would be cool. And it is mighty odd to watch your own finger do stuff without you doing it, just like with the yoga. This is what I mean. It's sort of spilling into my everyday reality. So things like shopping is now yoga, walking around town is the yoga as well. It's all yoga ultimately, all kriya. That's the way it's going, I sense. Health wise, I haven't been great because I got tonsillitis twice. I thought that the Kundalini had healed it because I didn't have it. I used to have it chronically and I didn't have it for like a year. And then bang, bang, I had it twice recently in a row, which is horrible. And I was taking loads of antibiotics and it kind of messed me up. And I'm still recuperating from that. I'm just about getting my energy back, but not quite there yet. But I was forced to quit drinking because I say forced because I do love drinking. I love the romantic aspect of it, the sort of poetic sitting and contemplating life with a beer and listening to music and, that sort of, the artistic element to drinking, the kind of philosopher, the Hemingways, the sort of, and there's just something about it that is, I find poetic and it's been a big part of my life, but I think this Kundalini had kind of had enough of it, and it was interrupting the work that it's doing on the system, which is now quite full on. So it really was just no longer an option. So as far as I know, I've effectively quit that particular habit, and I do feel clearer headed and better, though I'm still, my body, I feel is still quite tired from the illness and the antibiotics. And I have been managing to get myself to the gym and go through my kriya, but I don't feel quite right in my body. I feel run down. I'm hoping that's just temporary, and I can't always tell what it is. Sometimes I'll just feel kind of hot, and I'm like, is that the Kundalini doing something, or is that just me being a bit tired or being a bit ill? And certainly there's lots and lots of energy going up to my head, and I know that this mark is not very visible right now, but it still does it very forcefully in short bursts. And I think the mark is to do with the energy attempting to very forcefully wake up these dormant areas in the brain, like the third eye area. I wonder if once these areas kind of come online fully, if the head scratching will stop. I can't figure out if it's something that will go on throughout my life. Like if I put my hand here, it will just do it, and does that a lot. Or if it's just trying to do something. Because I used to think, oh, this mark is a sort of like a Buddha mark that it's like, I don't know. I figured it would always be there now, but I'm starting to wonder if it's not a symptom of the Kundalini, that it's a temporary thing that has a specific energetic function. I suspect that's what it is. So I don't know if it will always be there on and off. Perhaps it will be there on and off throughout my life. I don't know. Can't figure this one out. No one seems to know either. No one's ever come up to me and been like, well, one guy contacted me and said it was the energy trying to awaken my third eye, but who knows? Yeah, so that's about it. But this Shakti taking over the system is a surreal experience, because you find yourself walking around town and just standing in odd places, just standing still in the corner of a road, like looking like a lunatic. And there seems to be almost like you could kind of look at it as if it's trying to gain my trust, because it will just kind of make me cross a road and then spin back round again and then go back, and I'm like, really? Like, we've just been this way. Like, where are we going? And then and walking into traffic as well, because I'm kind of a lunatic. I'm like, yeah, I'm all in. Let's go, man. Take me where you want to take me. And sometimes it just walks me into traffic, and it kind of seems like a test. Like walking through fairly narrow gaps in between two cars, and I'm like, okay, here we go, woo. Things like that, where it seems to be kind of almost toying with me, just seeing how much control it's got and just kind of experimenting. That's what it feels like. That's the experience. Yeah, that's about it. But I'm pretty sure, despite all this, I'm pretty sure I'm still seeking on a very subtle level. I went to see a non-dual speaker, and he confirmed my suspicion. I said to him, asked him a question. I said, I've been listening to non-duality for years now, and I had this kind of dark night, and it was a mixture of despair and relief at the same time. It was very powerful. I felt very relaxed since then. I've been talking about the end of seeking because that's what it feels like, but I don't understand all the terminology, And he said, no, well, you're still seeking then, because otherwise, all that stuff would be very clear, And it's not. So it's good, because I've come to terms with that, because that was my suspicion, because it's been a while now since that shift, and I'm no closer to understanding anything about radical non-duality. So it was kind of a relief. It's kind of strange to think that someone could tell you that you're still seeking, and for that to be a relief. And the relief should come when seeking ends. But actually, someone, counterintuitively, someone telling me that seeking was still happening was a huge relief to my system. I was like, oh, thank God for that, because I just couldn't figure out why I didn't understand all that stuff. But I will say, it doesn't feel like it is. But then I certainly don't feel like I'm enlightened either. But it doesn't. I suppose that the seeking energy is calmed down so much. The difference between before and now, like now, feels so chilled out in comparison, that I guess I just assumed it had stopped. But I suppose it's still happening. But it's no longer happening in that kind of aggressive, detrimental way. That need for something to happen has really taken a massive battering. So that's good. And who knows where we'll go from here. Anyway, that's just a little update for anyone who's following this very bizarre and intense journey. The Kriya are getting more full on rather than less so. The yoga sessions it's getting to the point where I'm becoming quite flexible now, and it's been trying to wrench my legs into a lotus position, and all very trying to get me into the position of a sort of archetypal Buddha, and they're becoming more dynamic, more flowy, more If it carries on, I'm going to be pretty fit, I reckon. give it a couple of years. If this doesn't stop, I think I am going to be probably as fit as a human being as you possibly could be, because it just happens all the time, regardless of whether I want to work out or not. If I just allow it, it's just full on yoga / Pilates, So it's pretty great. But like I said, at the moment, my health doesn't feel super duper, and but there's a lot of energy going up here, kind of swirling around, and dramatic movements, including in the night. I don't always sleep a full night. There's lots of movement at the moment, but I find it all quite exciting. So that helps. That helps me when it's the middle of the night and I want to sleep. It's when your arms are moving around and doing strange things. It's exhausting, but it's kind of cool as well. So yeah. That is where I'm at. Thanks for checking in.